Hey, everybody, welcome to another great show right here in Poughkeepsie. I'm Heidi Altenberg, your host for this evening, and we have a great one for you. We have Jeremy Baum, who's going to be here in the studio with his trio, as well as Peter Carfano joining us from Ulster County Tourism. So let's hear from Jeremy Baum's trio. We're going to see what's going on with Jeremy Baum and where he's taking that big bad B2 right up after the break.
When John and I first decided to perform together, I thought it was a horrible idea. I didn't want our private life to become anecdotal material for our nightclub act. So the first year we worked together, we were very businesslike, and Time Out magazine in New York said the show was lovely, but that as a couple, John and I didn't sizzle. And I assure you that we occasionally do sizzle, but we were keeping our sizzle under a bushel, if I may speak in biblical terms. So the next year, I decided we would share, I think it's natural. People want to know a little bit about a performing couple, so we decided to reveal a little more of ourselves to people. So we wrote a song, actually, but we have a lot in common. John is an Italian Catholic from the tri-state area, and I'm an Irish Catholic from the tri-state area. We both love cooking and baseball, and for the most part, things are going along very well. And I say the most part because there is one area where being an Irish girl married to an Italian guy can be a little rough, and I'd like to sing about it right now. I have sung a song in Greek, I have read the Kama Sutra, and I've made a grown man feel like Peter Pan. But I turn into a geek at the beach, I have no future. 'Cause face it, baby, I can't get a tan. I have wannabe in spelling, beat a sommelier in smelling, broke the paparazzi's cameras in can. It was really very telling, like the cameras were yelling, face it, baby, you can't get a tan. So let's holiday at home, or perhaps a trip to Nome. 'Cause who needs to go to Roma with that threat of melanoma? What I lack in my bikini line, you get back on the martini line. You never see the sun, but you'll have a lot of fun. Oh, I've bought lotions by the hordes, taken sunroofs out of Fords. Yes, I've come to think that there should be a ban. Now I'm really leaning towards sunning by the pool at Lourdes, 'cause Jesus Christ, I just can't get a tan. Some non-tanners out there. Told the therapist my tale. This is the dance break that I forgot about. Told the therapist my tale of the trials of being a pale, and where my seaside phobias began. He just told me to relax
It's time. It's defy convention, escape the expected, break new ground time. The original comes of age. Queer as Folk is back, premiering Sunday, April 18th at 10, 9 Central. It's time for movies that fascinate, series that captivate, events to exhilarate. It's time to get showtime.
Hey, it's Kristen Hoffman, and you're watching Poughkeepsie Live on Time Warner Cable.
Hey everybody, welcome back. And I'm sitting here with Jeremy Baum. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us and bringing your fabulous music to us here in
Okay.
Poughkeepsie, as well as all the rest of us over there on the other side of the river. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I kind of usually like to start off with is setting the public up so they get to know you a little bit as your person, as your musician, how you developed.
Okay.
Now, you went to school for
For
musical training, actually, and so
For
on and so
many, many years.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit about that experience for you and what you did.
Let's see. I went to SUNY New Paltz for 5 years, and I went to SUNY Purchase
Okay.
for 3 years.
Okay.
Got a master's in music.
Good, good. Now, was that something that was really important in your development as a musician? Would you suggest something like that for?
Yeah, absolutely. You know,
Okay.
all the while I was going to school, I was playing music for a living.
Okay.
But even going back to school for my master's, it allowed me to have that time to really dedicate my energy to exploring things that I wanted to get to learn how to do better,
Okay.
like playing the organ, playing
Okay.
bass on the organ
Okay.
with my left hand, studying Afro-Cuban music,
Mm-hmm.
and then I ended up meeting some guys that were playing that kind of music, and
Okay.
we formed a band 7, 8 years ago,
Right.
Soñando.
Okay.
We've
Yeah,
been
sure.
playing around the Hudson Valley since then.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it was worth it for me.
Okay,
definitely.
good. So, locally, you've played with folks like Morale, Coriel.
I met him at college.
Okay.
My first class
Okay.
at New Paltz.
Right.
Morale and I were in the same music class.
Well, you had an interesting story too. It's like you went out into the world and tried to make it.
Yeah,
and
before I went
play
to
music.
college, I played in a band with friends that I had from high school, and
It wasn't happening.
it wasn't happening. The music was fun, but we weren't.
Right.
I didn't become a rock star. So,
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know, I did it for I don't know, about 6 months. We all
Okay.
lived together and
Yeah.
practiced every day, and we went out and did some gigs. And we had fun, but
And it took school to really connect with, network with the people that you were looking for.
Yeah,
Even
that
though
helped.
you
Yep.
explained earlier was very interesting that
and
you
studying and taking it
Yeah.
seriously. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
it all
And
helped.
and going out there and getting out there and hearing who's playing and listening
Right,
to
and
them.
every night from the time I guess I was 18 or 19, I started just going out every night of the week, trying to hear as much live music as I could, and asking people if I could sit in, and yeah, so yeah.
That's how you got the Morale gig.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I went out and heard his band, and then I knew a couple guys that were in his band. His drummer I went to high school with,
Okay.
and I asked if I could sit in, and I think I was sitting in for about a month playing, and eventually the guy said to Morale that he has to start paying me because
Yeah.
I kept coming out and playing.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, what about the Bill Perry?
Well, playing with Morale, Coriel, after a couple of years, we ended up doing this blues jam in Middletown.
Okay.
And that was every Thursday night. We ended up hosting that, and I was there for like 6, 7 years. And Bill Perry is from Orange County, and he used to always be out there at the jams, and that's where I met him and ended up playing with him for a couple of years too.
Right, and you actually toured the country with him. You
A
went on
little
tour.
bit, yeah. We toured around, and we got over to Europe. I think I just went once with
Okay.
him to Europe. But
Okay, groovy. Now, your latest CD effort is very eclectic, and there's a lot of different music on that.
right.
Tell me about it.
This one, Lost River Jams.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess my tastes are really eclectic.
Okay.
You know.
What's
any-
your scene? What are you digging?
Derek Trucks
Yeah.
is one of my favorites.
Uh-huh.
And he plays music from all around the world. Like anything that, to me, like any music that I'm affected by that I really feel is like soul music, and it doesn't matter where it's from. And his last album, one of his last albums, has music from Pakistan, and he's doing gospel and blues and funk and Latin music. He has Reuben Blades on one of his tracks. And to me, that's what music is. Music doesn't have borders and shouldn't be put in a box. You just play anything that you feel, you should play it.
So that's what you have on your latest CD, Lost
Yeah, my
River
CD
Jams.
is kind of eclectic like that.
Okay,
There's some
cool.
Latin stuff, gospel,
Okay.
blues.
Now, your
funk.
freelance work these days, who have you been playing with and what did you learn?
All right. I went out with Melvin Sparks, Melvin Sparks Band. Got to play with him for about 3 months this winter.
Okay.
And I got to record on his record that's going to come out this summer, I guess, on Savant Records.
Yes.
And he is a legendary soul jazz guitarist.
Okay.
Really funky.
Okay.
Probably he's played with every great organ player that's ever lived.
Okay.
Essentially, yeah. He's done
Wow.
that in his career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Debbie Davies.
Debbie Davies.
What do you got going on
When I
there?
was going to SUNY Purchase,
Okay.
I became friends with one of the teachers there, Joe Ferry, who's a producer for Shanachie Records. And I ended up recording on a bunch of records that he was producing.
Okay.
A couple ska records, and he produced Debbie Davies and Sue Foley.
Okay.
I got to play with
So you
them.
got to play with them on their
a little bit
latest
for 'em.
project.
Yeah, that was a few years back, about 5 years ago.
Okay, but still, that's
Yeah.
good stuff.
That was fun.
Okay, well, why don't we actually let the folks know where you're going to be playing and what's coming up gig-wise?
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'll be glad to let you know.
Okay.
You've got Thursday, June 3rd at 11 p.m. at the Oasis in New Paltz, New York,
Okay.
as well as Tuesday, July 13th, 7 p.m., and that's the Cornwall Bandstand in
Okay.
Cornwall, New York. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So make sure you're there,
Okay,
Jeremy.
I'll try to show
Okay.
up. Yeah.
You can give Jeremy a call. He's got his phone number up there. It's 569-4905.
Yeah, we could use more gigs.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to hire us?
Well, I think you're groovy. That's why I wanted you to come on by,
Thanks so
actually.
much.
Now, also, I've looked through your kit, and there was a quote in there, and I thought it was really cool, actually.
Okay.
And it was, music breaks down barriers,
Mm-hmm.
brings people closer, celebrates life and beauty in the world. So in that, it's your quote. Share with us what that inspiration is and how that came to you.
Well, playing music, I've had opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And when I was going to college at New Paltz, I played in the gospel choir and got to play. We did this big concert down at SUNY Stony Brook, and there were all different gospel groups performing, and there was thousands of people there, African Americans, and playing all this gospel music. And I was one. Maybe there was 2 or 3 white guys there, but I was totally comfortable and totally accepted by everybody, and the music is what brought me there, and it was just it was a wonderful experience. And a few years later, I was playing with Soñando. We did a couple times. I was playing on a float in the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and I'm just surrounded by thousands and thousands of people screaming Boricua. So it means I'm a Puerto Rican, and I don't even know what they're saying in the band, but I could play the music well, and I got to get the opportunity to experience that. And really, there's no music. There's no language barrier. It's just
Okay.
if people feel it,
All
they
right.
feel it. It's good.
Yeah.
So it just crosses all that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be back with Peter Carfano from the Ulster County Tourism Department coming up after the break. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Yeah.